Hey, welcome to Keight Krafts. I'm Keight. Today I would like to share with you this prehistoric platform pop-up card. Let's get started. Off camera, I've gone ahead and cut out all the pieces that I'll need for my platform pop-up. And now we are going to take some of this distressed mica spray and we are going to spritz until my heart is content. Now the paper that I'm using is from an old Recollections brand 12 by 12 paper pack. I can't remember the name of it, I don't have much of it left. And while I set that off to dry, I'm going to take some Tumbled Glass Distress Oxide ink and the only cloud stencil I think I seem to have, which is this Recollections brand one. And I'm going to go back and forth with the tumbled glass to create my background scene. Now this is just a little add-on to the platform pop-up, so that way I don't have to double up on my images on the other side, and I can glue a little piece of cardstock on the back with my sentiment. Now this card is for, or was for, my little cousin who recently turned 2. Now, I don't think he'll appreciate this hard work that I put into the card because he's just a little weak kid, but he really likes dinosaurs, and it was an excuse to make a dinosaur card, which is totally out of my depth because I've never made a dinosaur card before. And once I'm happy with all that blend, I will set it off to the side and let that dry. And while I've got that off to the side, we are going to take the 3 T pieces that belong to the platform pop-up, and I'm going to toss some of this 1/8 of an inch Scor Tape on the top side of the T's. Now, I do not do this part of the video any justice in explaining on how the platform pop-up goes together. I will do my best, but there are other tutorials out there that probably do a hell of a lot better explaining this part than I do. And Lawn Fawn has one that's pretty explanatory. So all I'm doing is taking that release tape off and I'm lining it to the very bottom of these little stitched hills that go with the platform pop-up. And it's standard ones that come with it. This isn't the add-on or anything. I think you can get like grass, I think comes with it. Or maybe, I forget. It's been a while since I've made a platform pop-up, but I've seen a whole bunch of videos recently where people were doing it, and I thought it would be a great idea to give my wee little cousin a pop-up dino card that his mom and dad could put on the mantelpiece and maybe save for when he gets older, or not, because I'll probably end up making him more anyway. But anyway, I digress. So again, I'm just taking the release tape off and carefully lining up those T's with those little mounds of dirt or sand. I don't know. It looks kind of like sand. It looks kind of like dirt. We'll leave it to your imagination. It could be sand. It could be dirt. But this is going to be dinosaurs, and this is going to be a lot of fun. So now I am going to take my 1/8 of an inch Scor Tape, and I'm going to put it around all the pieces that I know need to be adhered together. I'm just going to show you 1/2 of the platform pop-up that I put together, just to save some time, because this video is rather long. And then once I have both sides completed and put together, then I will adhere them together to create the platform itself. So that's all I'm doing with this second piece here, is putting in some double-sided tape, so that way I don't have to fiddle with it later when I'm trying to put everything together. So you can kind of see how everything goes here. You want to make sure that that tab, you fold that up, and that way, not fold it up, but you got to get it stuck to the one side. So you're going to fold it back. That way you can stick it to the back side of it when you fold it over. So I'm just going to take some more of this double-sided tape and tear off a few pieces to make sure that this gets stuck to the bottom. So you'll see here in a minute. Again, I'm trying really hard to explain this, and I'm just not doing too well with it. So this is how I put it together. So I bring up the bottom part and then just kind of tape it all together, and then make sure that everything looks alright and I don't have to take it apart or do it again. So once I'm happy with that, I'll go ahead off camera and I will create the next one. So once I have those done, I'm going to butt up the edges together using my grid mat the best that I can to line everything up. And then I'm going to go ahead and take that third piece of the T, and I'm going to cut that little tab off because it's not necessary. And now you want to make sure that your little hill pieces are facing all the same way and you don't end up accidentally putting on one backwards, because that's happened before. So here, off camera, you can't really see it, but I've taken some Scor Tape and I've put it all in front of the one bit there so I could adhere that to the base of the card. And then I am going to take some more, and I'm going to go across that side of it as well, because we're going to sandwich all this stuff together. And that way the base of the platform would be completely adhered, and you don't have anything falling apart, really. So I'm going to remove the release tape, and then I'm just going to fold it over gently and make sure everything is lined up as best as I possibly can, and then I'll give that a quick mash down. So once I'm happy with all that, then I can take the other half of the platform pop-up here and close it, so that way you don't see any of the bits on the inside. And there is the platform pop-up. So next, we got to put the backing on, so the sky. And all I'm going to do is, once I figure out how I want it and if it's going to fit and I made sure I did everything right, I'm going to go back in with that 1/8 of an inch Scor Tape and just put it along the back at the bottom. Now, you could use glue, but I really was impatient because I had to do a card for my little cousin's sister, because it was a double birthday party and I needed to make sure that I had enough time to create a second card, because the party was coming up and I didn't want to have to try and take care of it during the week. So once I'm happy with that, I will pull it apart a little bit just to make sure that I get everything in there as best as I possibly can. And once I'm happy with that, then I'm ready to go. So I'll set that off to the side and we'll get into a little bit of coloring. Now, I was kind of at a loss when I put this card together because I wanted to do an interactive card. I wasn't sure what kind of interactive card that I wanted to do, and I mean, I guess this was more to wow my cousins in a sense, because they'd understand the sentiment behind the card, whereas my 2-year-old cousin, they wouldn't. So this is more or less something I wanted to do so that way they could put it on display if they decided to, because parents and, you know, their young children, it's something they do, I guess. So I thought, well, I'll do some dino cards, but then I thought, well, I didn't think. I didn't know what I was going to put on it first. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. And then I remembered that a while back, like I'm talking like in the spring or something like that, I had done an exchange with a dear friend of mine, Jessica Squirrels. So Jessica had stamped out a whole bunch of images and cut them out of stamps that I didn't have. And then I turned around and did a whole bunch of stamps that she didn't have. And I ended up sending them her, and she sent them to me. And I used a few of them. Actually, I did use some of them in one of my mermaid videos, like my early mermaid videos. And it was like the first time I'd actually ever colored them with Copics, and it was quite an experience for me. And I had completely forgotten that I had all the dinos, because I don't really know a lot of little boys who like dinos, or even big boys who like dinos. So when I was racking my brain thinking, what am I going to do, I remembered I had a box that I'd put them all in, and I couldn't remember exactly what I'd had left over because I'd fiddled with a few of them, and I wasn't sure if I still had some, or if I even had the box. I was a little worried. But finally I did find the box, and to my surprise, I had more than enough dinos for this card. So I pulled out the ones that I wanted, and I figured I could probably rearrange them on the platform pop-up, and it would be a really, really cute display. So I'm really grateful that Jessica had sent me those dinosaurs, because my little cousin's obsessed with dinosaurs. Dinosaurs and something called cocoa melon. I don't know, I was informed to get anything cocoa melon, and I'd actually gotten his little sister a Cocomelon wand or microphone, or I don't know exactly what it was. I'm not very versed in children's toys, but I swear the two of them, as soon as it went off, they just went silent and stared, and it was like hypnosis for children. I don't begin to understand children's programs, but apparently I did good, so there's that. Not that they'll remember it because they are still very young, but it was an experience nonetheless. So again, here I've got more dinos, and if you haven't guessed it yet, I'm going in with Darkest to Lightest, and this is a Bristol Smooth cardstock that I used, I believe. I think that's what she sent me. I don't know, I can't remember. No, it might be Nina Solar White. I think it's the Nina Solar White that she sent these on. I don't know, maybe Jessica can tell me in the comments below if she can remember that far back, but I believe this was the Nina Solar White because I had sent her some shimmer cardstock that I really liked coloring on for the end effect because it gave the alcohol markers a bit of a shimmer, and she had never tried drawing on that, or coloring on that, I should say, and I had never tried the Nina. I think it's the Nina. I could be wrong, though. I don't know. Help me out, Jessica. I'm kind of drowning here. Anyway, I really enjoyed coloring these little guys. I think they're absolutely adorable, and I don't know, it's definitely on my list of things to get for, in case I need another card for another little boy or something like that. And yeah, so it was an experience. This was the first time I had ever colored the dinosaurs, so I wasn't exactly sure what I was doing with them. I was just kind of thinking where shadows and highlights and stuff would be if they had big rounded bodies, and maybe this no, is this a triceratops? I can't remember. No, this isn't a triceratops. This is a stegosaurus. Oh golly, I am so rusty on my dinosaurs. Maybe he's fat because he ate so many leaves. Wait, are they omnivores or carnivores, or do they just eat plants? I don't know. You'll have to forgive me. It's been a long time since I've been versed in any kind of dino. I mean, I know Tyrannosaurus Rex, I know pterodactyls, I know T-Rex. Oh no, I just said that. Yeah. I think the Torontos have the Raptors for a basketball team. Those are like a small little Tyrannosaurus Rex. I don't know. Do you guys understand dinosaurs? Do you know your dinosaurs? Am I really sinking here with my inadequate description of dinosaur names? Yeah, I better probably quit while I'm ahead. So, yeah, let's just do that. So all I've done with these as I go along is once I've gotten them all colored with the colors that I want to color them in, I just go in with a Sakura white jelly roll pen just to add little dots and dashes to make it look a little more dimensional and a little more cute, I guess. I don't know, it was a lot of fun putting this one together. It was certainly the experience because, like I said, this was the first time I'd ever colored the dinosaurs, which I'm glad I have some left over, as I've said. Yeah. Sorry, this is a really long video and I'm running out of dialogue here. Okay, so I needed a sentiment from the front, and this is the offset happy birthday sentiment that I'd stamped out initially, and then kind of screwed up, and then turned it around and stamped on the other side, so you could see it stamped twice. So we're just going to take the good side, and I've cut it down and rounded the corners off, just to kind of give it a little more interest. And now to assemble the dinosaurs. So what I'm doing here is I'm just taking a strip of this 1/8 of an inch Scor Tape and putting it along the bottom where I know it's going to be touching the little mound of sand or dirt or whatever it is. And then I'm going to add some glue for some double adhesion. And that way it'll be stuck and it'll be still kind of wet with glue, but it'll stay and I won't have to sit there and hold it because at this point I was running out of time and I was getting kind of tired, and I'd already been at this card for a few hours because the platform pop-ups usually take quite a bit of time to put them together. I mean, I've done them before in the past, but I've usually had to redo half of it because I've gone astray at some point. So once I've got that first, is that the Bronchiosaurus? I don't know, the long-necked dinosaur. I'm going to take the palm tree and put a little bit of tape on the front of it, and then I'll add some glue to it, and then I'm going to glue this behind the long-necked dinosaur. So that way it gives me a little bit more height, and I don't totally lose it behind him. So I'm kind of using the back side here of the dinosaur like he's eating the leaves off the palm tree, just to kind of give him a little more height, because the tree was a little too short if I had glued it to, the base of the card. So again, I'll go in with the, yeah, that's the Triceratops. That's the one I was thinking of, not the Stegosaurus, right? Or am I wrong? Okay, of course, I'm going to Google this after I'm done this voiceover, just to kind of satisfy my queries, because right now I'm just basically talking to myself as I do this voiceover, and, you, the audience, are watching it later, and you're probably, face palming yourself thinking, Keight, oh my goodness, stop while you're ahead, please. This is painful. Anyway, I've gone ahead with the Scor Tape and some glue, and I'm just kind of mounting them back and forth so they don't totally cover each other, and you can see bits and pieces of them. And I've got the tallest in the back, the medium ones in the middle, and then I'll do the smallest ones in the front. So that way you kind of get a little more dimension with them, and you don't lose out on anybody. So I'm just kind of figuring out the rearrangement here. I initially had them like set up to do a different way, but then I kind of lost my way and went on a different path, and I thought this little dude right here would be perfect to go kind of in the middle and just kind of offset the colors there, because I've got the purple and the orange and the blue and that teal color, or aqua color I should say, not teal. Anyway, I am going in with the little Stegosaurus, and I think, well, he's going to be too big for the front there, but I do have these two little eggs that I colored, and then I think I kind of need something else. Like, he's going to be too big there. He's kind of going to cover the back of the other dinosaurs, and I need something a little bit smaller. So as I'm fiddling with this, trying to figure out what I want to do, I think, well, I've got a few extra pieces that I could use, and I end up thinking this little dude. So he's cracked open his egg, which technically I should have the eggshell broken next to him, but I don't. I just put that guy back into the bag so you can see all those little dinos. So I think they're from, oh, what are they called? That's from two different sets, I know that. So my notes tell me that one of them is Rawrsome and the other ones are Critters from the Past. I had to look them up when I was doing this. So I knew, because they're not from the same set. But some of them are, some of them aren't, you know what I mean. So off camera, I'd gone ahead and colored this little guy in some of the same colors that I had already used earlier. And I'll have all of those guys linked in the description box below, like all the colors that I used and stuff like that. So that way if you want to replicate this, or I don't know, maybe you found some inspiration or ideas, and hopefully that'll help you. I try to list everything in the description box below that I use. Sometimes I forget, but, if you're a little curious about something, drop a comment in the section below and let me know. So I think I'm happy with that, and I am done. There is my finished card. This was a little bit of a challenge to color in the dinos, because I hadn't colored them in before, but all around I'm quite pleased with it. So if you've enjoyed today's content, you know what to do. And as always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care.